Chapter 23. Huh? I let out a loud gasp. Cory set down the vulture claw. He reached under his birthday dude t-shirt and he pulled up a vulture claw he had around his neck. See, he said, why do you think I've been even luckier than usual? He waved the claw at me. This thing really works. He tucked his claw back under his shirt, then he picked up my claw and tossed it back to me. I was totally in shock, but somehow I caught it in both hands. I shoved it in my pocket. Cory walked over to me. You keep it, dude, he said. You need good luck, too. He gave me a playful punch in the side. But thanks anyway for such an awesome gift. You're a great friend. Before I could say anything, he walked back to the table and started to rip open more presents. I'm a great friend? What's up with this? This is supposed to be the birthday party of no return for Cory. But it turns out he has his own good luck claw, and now I have my unlucky one back. I had no choice. I had to take it back. I couldn't concentrate on the rest of the gifts. My head was spinning. I could only think about the two claws. Why was Cory's claw lucky and my claw unlucky? Was it really Arfie's fault? How can I make the claw lucky again? Could I buy another one? I didn't have a clue about where this one came from. I shut my eyes. I had to force myself to stop thinking about the claw. I wanted to enjoy the party. I walked over to the Wii game. About 10 or 12 kids were gathered in front of the big TV. They were still playing the tennis game. I waited my turn. Then I took the controller. I hope this is easy, I said. I haven't played this before. I gripped the controller tightly, stared at the screen, readied myself. The serve came at me, and I swung hard. I gasped as the controller slid from my hand and sailed toward the TV screen. No, I moaned over the crash. Oh no. I raised my hands to the sides of my face. It was an accident, I cried, an accident. Chapter 24. The controller shot into the center of the TV screen, a deafening crash. The glass shattered into dozens of jagged cracks, like a spider web over the screen. Then shards of glass dropped to the floor. Kids cried out and jumped back. Everyone turned to stare at me. An accident, I cried. It slipped. I didn't like their angry stares. They were upset they wouldn't get to play the Wii anymore. I ruined their fun. I saw Mrs. Duckworth hurrying across the room. What happened? She cried. What was the crash? I just wanted to shrink into the floor. I knew my face was burning red. I backed away. I wanted to get away as far as I could. I should have watched where I was going. I felt a bump on my back. It startled me and I stumbled backward. Oh no, I moaned. I backed into the food table. I felt a jolt. I turned in time to see the table tilt and tumble onto its side. Plates and bowls and platters and glasses slid to the floor. Pizza slices made a slick plop. Glasses shattered. Chips flew everywhere. Spilled soda formed a lake under the overturned table. No way, Mrs. Duckworth shouted. I tried to step away from the mess, but my legs were acting crazy. I slipped on a pizza slice. My hands flew up as I fell back and landed on the birthday cake. Whoa! A cry escaped my throat as I fell on top of the cake, crashed to the floor, sprawled on my back, helpless with gooey cake beneath me. I rolled off the cake with a groan. Blue and white icing stuck to my shirt and the back of my pants. I tried to wipe it off, but clumps of icing stuck to my hands. My face itched. I tried to scratch it, and icing smeared my cheeks. I glimpsed myself in the wall mirror. Blue and white icing covered my hair. Everyone in the room was going nuts. Kids were shouting and shrieking and running around. Cory stood in the broken glass from the TV screen, staring at the mess of the fallen food table. Staring. Just staring. I tried to brush icing off my pants. I felt someone grab my shoulder hard. I looked up to see Mrs. Duckworth. Her face was red. She had her jaw clenched. I swear I could see fire shooting from her eyes. She squeezed my shoulder until I cried out, Come with me, Lee, she said through gritted teeth. Across the room, a girl slipped on the sticky spilled soda and fell into a pile of pizza slices. Kids were still shouting and shaking their heads in disbelief. Mrs. Duckworth led me up the basement stairs away from the party. Don't touch anything, she said. I'm warning you, don't touch anything. I don't want icing all over my house. Sorry, I stammered. We reached the kitchen. She let go of my shoulder and turned to face me. She studied me from head to foot. Are you okay, Lee? Are you hurt? I'm okay, I guess, I murmured. I brushed a lump of icing off my cheek. But then I didn't know where to put it, so I wiped it on my jeans. I'm calling your parents, Mrs. Duckworth said, to pick you up. Okay, I said softly. You ruined Cory's party, she said, squinting hard at me. You didn't do all that to be funny, did you? I swallowed. My throat was suddenly very dry. Funny? I squeaked. No, So it wasn't deliberate, she asked. I shook my head. No way. It was an accident, really. It was a lot of accidents, she said. She made a face like she had just bitten into a really sour lemon. I'm sorry, I stuttered. I mean, it's hard to destroy a TV, knock over a heavy food table, and sit on a birthday cake, she said. Very hard to do all that. I nodded. Just bad luck, I muttered. I didn't know what else to say. Then I added, I didn't sit on the cake. I fell on it. She made a sound. Then she picked up a phone and called my house. I sighed. How could she think I did all that on purpose? Cory's my friend. I would never deliberately ruin his birthday party. Never. My mom pulled up in the car 5 minutes later. She let out a cry when she saw me. I told her I was okay. I said I had an accident with the cake. I said I'd explain later. Mom apologized at least 20 times to Mrs. Duckworth. It was quite unusual, Mrs. Duckworth said. She kept using the word unusual. Then she excused herself. I have a lot of cleaning up to do. Cory came upstairs to say goodbye. I told him I was sorry that I wrecked his party. I pulled him into the front hall. It's the claw, I said. I whispered so my mom wouldn't hear. She was still in the kitchen. She was on her phone calling Dad. Cory stared hard at me. What about the claw? Mine is different from yours, I said. Something bad happened to it. Now it's bad luck all the time. I sighed. Everything that just happened downstairs, the mess I made, all because of the claw. It gives me bad luck instead of good. Cory shook his head. Lee, didn't you read the instructions? Chapter 25. Instructions? I had a sudden flash. I remembered opening the box the claw came in, and I pictured the small square sheet of paper that fluttered out of the box. Arfie grabbed it and ran away with it. Were those the instructions? Come with me, Cory said. He started to grab my sleeve, but he pulled his hand away when he saw the sleeve was smeared with icing. I followed him to his bedroom. He had rock posters all over his walls from floor to ceiling. Some of them belonged to his parents and went all the way back to the 1970s. Very cool. I think I still have the instruction sheet that came with my claw, Cory said. He began pawing through a desk drawer. Yes, here it is. He pulled out a square white sheet of paper and handed it to me. You didn't read this, he asked. I shook my head. No, my dog took it and ate it. My eyes scanned the page of the small type. There weren't many instructions, but I gasped when I found the one important rule. This rare virtual vulture claw will bring you good luck forever, I read. But you must follow one rule. You must never kiss the claw. Kissing it is forbidden. Oh, wow, I murmured. Oh, wow. I stared at those words and I read them again. My heart started to pound like crazy. I suddenly felt cold all over. I kept reading. If you kiss the claw, your luck will turn bad, and you will have very bad dreams, and your whole life will turn into a nightmare. The instruction sheet trembled in my hand. I shut my eyes. I pictured myself kissing the claw many times. When I opened my eyes, Cory was standing hard at me. You kissed your claw, didn't you? He said. I nodded. A lot, I muttered. Bad luck, Cory said. Yeah, bad luck. Bad luck all the time, I sighed again. Where'd you get your claw? He shrugged. Beats me, it just came in the mail. Me too, I said. Wish I'd read the instructions. Lee, where are you? Mom called from the kitchen. We have to go. Coming, I shouted. I started toward the bedroom door, but Cory grabbed my arm. I just want to ask you one more question, he said. I turned and waited for him to ask it. Why'd you give me your claw as a birthday present, he asked. To give me bad luck? My mouth dropped open. I could feel my face growing hot, and I knew I was blushing. Sorry, I said. It was a stupid idea. I didn't want you to have real bad luck. I shook my head. Really, I'm sorry. His eyes went cold. He blew out a long whoosh of air. Kind of a dirty trick, he said. You're supposed to be my friend. I opened my mouth to answer, but my eyes went right to the open window. The sky darkened suddenly. I saw an ugly creature soar toward the window. It filled the window, huge, let out a raw bleating sound. An enormous gray and black vulture. It stepped onto the window ledge, cawing loudly. It raised one leg. The leg had no claw at the end, just a black stump, a ragged, ugly bump. I uttered a cry as the huge bird lowered its head and bolted into the room. Look out, I screamed. No time to duck or run. It raised its wings high, lowered its massive beak, and dove at me. Chapter 26. I screamed and covered my head. Cory laughed. I'm not going to hit you, he said. You don't have to duck. I blinked. I lowered my arms. I gazed at Cory. He stood staring at me, a puzzled expression on his face. Lee, what was that about? Well, no ugly bleeding vulture in the room. I was seeing things again. Another hallucination. I should have known. Are you okay? Cory asked. My whole body was trembling. Not really, I said. This claw is messing up my brain. I reached into my pocket and felt the claw. I have to get rid of it. He nodded. Yeah, as fast as you can. I apologized again for wrecking his birthday party and for trying to pass off the bad luck claw to him. Then I hurried to the kitchen to find Mom. So what happened, Lee? Mom asked as we drove home. What went wrong at the party? Everything, I replied. How could I explain? Both hands on the steering wheel, Mom turned to stare at me. Maybe you could describe it a little better than that? I really can't, I said. I smashed his TV, then I fell and I knocked the food all over. Then I fell again on the cake. It was all a horrible accident. Were you dizzy? Mom asked. Should we take you to Dr. Markov? No, I told you it was an accident, I said. Mom nodded. She gazed out the windshield and bit her bottom lip. She only bites her lip like that when she's worried. I stared out the car window. We passed a group of kids on bikes. They grinned at me and raised their arms. They all had claws instead of hands. Oh, no, I muttered. A scrawny gray and black vulture landed on the hood of the car. It stared at me through the windshield. Then it raised an ugly, clawless stump at me. I'm living a nightmare, I thought. I can't tell what's real and what isn't. My life would never return to normal until I got rid of that horrible claw. Mom pulled the car up our driveway. I pushed open my door and bolted out, eager to get going. There's something I have to do, I said. Yes, there is, Mom replied. You have to walk Arfie. Huh? I started to protest, but Mom pushed me toward the house. Give Arfie a good long walk, she said. He's been laying around the house all day. He needs some exercise. But Mom... No arguing, she said. Some fresh air will do you some good, too. No, it won't, I told myself. Fresh air won't change my luck. Fresh air won't stop these frightening hallucinations. I stepped into the house first. Arfie was waiting. The big sheepdog leaped onto me and tackled me to the floor. Then he wrapped me in a headlock and planted wet kisses all over my face. I screamed. He had a vulture head. He was licking me with the disgusting, scratchy vulture tongue. No! I rolled from under him and jumped to my feet. His head was back to normal now. I grabbed his leash off the hook by the back door. I hooked Arfie up and we headed out the door. The late afternoon sun was dipping behind the trees. Long shadows stretched across the front yards. Trees shimmered with their fresh leaves. Whoa, I let out a cry as Arfie started to run. Slow down. Hey, take it slower. The big guy had been cooped up all day. I could see he wanted to stretch his legs. He wanted to run, but I wanted to take it slow. I needed to be careful, to watch out for more hallucinations. Arfie, stop, I shouted. Arfie, stay. Stay, boy. He gave the leash a hard tug and bounded into the middle of the street. I tried to pull him back onto the sidewalk, but he was a lot stronger than me. Arfie, stop! Stop! He lowered his furry head and plowed on, picking up speed, running down the middle of the street. Arfie, no! I heard a snap. The leash flew back and hit me in the chest. Arfie kept running free. The leash had snapped off and Arfie was on the loose. Stop, stop, I screamed. This was not a hallucination. This was real. The dog kept running at full speed, his forelegs pounding the street pavement. I chased after him, running as fast as I could, but the big dog was galloping now. My legs ached, my heart throbbed. I couldn't catch up. Arfie, please, I wailed breathlessly. Please stop. I was in a total panic now. I didn't see the black car. I only heard the squeal of the tires. A horn blared right behind me, so close and loud that I screamed. The tires squealed. Whoomp! The car hit me from behind. I felt the bump at the bottom of my back. Didn't feel very strong, but it sent me flying. I didn't really have time to know what was happening. I landed hard on my back a few feet away. I died instantly.